today. This is the WFNY BrownsCast following a Browns overtime win over the Buccaneers 23-17. I'm your host, Joe Gilbert. I'm once again with Taylor Jedrzejek, and we are part of the Evergreen Podcast Network, and we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. For first-time depositors, enter in the code WFNY at checkout, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. Underdog is a great platform if you're tired of the DFS salary system. There are tons of great types and game types every night for every sport. Don't forget to use WFNY at your first-time deposit so it can be matched up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy. So, yeah, that was a fun one today. Taylor, your initial thoughts after that overtime win?
It's nice to see a win again.
This is your first win in
been a while.
2 months or so.
Since September.
Yeah.
Mid-September. It was, I think today was the first time we saw a game all season that we expected to see from the team coming in. The defense played well. The offense did enough.
Yeah.
Now, if we had played that way for 11 games, we'd be in a lot better place. But it was nice to. I think more than anything, obviously the win is the most important thing. But I don't think anyone on the field deserved that win more than Jacoby Brissett for the way he's played for the last 2.5 months.
Right.
So. It's nice that he went out like that.
It was very very kind of poetic there, kind of winning on your final handoff of your season.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like the first time I saw all year that they showed heart and kind of. Like both sides, they kind of showed heart and kind of fight. I multiple times I thought they would give up. There was when the offense wasn't going and the defense just kept. They gave up that long drive in the second half, and I was like, maybe they have found something, and they came back and just dominated the rest of the game. It was one of the most. It really showed that kind of the fight and the heart that they had, and we haven't seen that all year. It was nice to see that.
Yeah, I mean, after that touchdown drive in the second half you just mentioned, the Bucs had 7 possessions.
Mm-hmm.
6 of them ended in a punt, and the seventh was the end of the game, end of the regulation.
Yeah.
So the defense found it somewhere. Myles Garrett found it somewhere. I mean, my God.
he was killing that tackle. It was a really good tackle. Like those are really good tackles. Those are 2 of the better tackles in the league, and he just
I don't. I think unless he does something stupid like swing a helmet again, I think today might have earned him a reprieve from the amount of criticism he gets on Twitter for the rest of the season, because there were, and I posted it in the Discord right after the game. There were 3 players who won the game for the Browns today. Myles Garrett was probably the most important because he after that Amari Cooper drop, he pretty much stopped the Bucs himself almost.
He really did.
He ended 3 drives himself.
Yeah.
Martin Emerson or MJ Emerson played the game of his young life at this point.
He did.
I mean, you're matched up against Mike Evans, and going in, we thought that would be a rough matchup, and Mike Evans never really got open. He drew 1 pass interference penalty.
Yeah, 2 catches for 31 yards.
Yeah,
on 9 targets.
Yeah,
9 targets.
One of those 2 catches was the 26-yarder that Denzel Ward for some reason ran deep and left him wide open on an out route, on a 15-yard out. But it was a good game from him, and then obviously the third player there is Jacoby Brissett because they still needed him, even though they got Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb got him down there in that game tying drive.
Yeah,
Brissett still needed to make the plays in the end, and
yeah.
he made the play. Like it was a high throw, but it's a throw that only Njoku was going to have a shot at. And
boy, did he have a shot! Catch of the year right there, man. That was unbelievable. Fourth down and 10 or so, and final play of the game for you guys. If you don't get it, it's over. And he just comes up with just one of the best catches I've seen in a while. Yeah, that's why you signed him, right?
Yeah, I mean the end of the game right there. If even if I'm not going to say even if they make the playoffs, like if they do make the playoffs, I mean, like the playoffs are still such a long shot at 4-7 with the rest of the AFC. The rest of the AFC playoff picture all having, I think, 6 or 7 wins. I think the Ravens blowing it today might have helped because that keeps them at 6 wins. Mm-hmm. But even if you don't come back and will your way into the playoffs, that was what could go down as a season-changing drive. You're staring 3-8 in the face at home. It's your last home game for a while. And you're able to go down and get a touchdown and, change the face of your season for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I put all-time vibe improvement
right.
in the chat.
I know, coming off of just a terrible past month and a half or so.
Yeah.
That was it was nice to finally get something.
I mean, you were walking around pregame. You said the vibes were not great.
No, it was sort of just kind of whatever. Here, like it was kind of just showing up to expect what you've seen all season, and they come out with just this dramatic win. It's gotta help, just not even just the fans. It's just gotta help the locker room get out of that rut that they've been stuck in for a month and a half or so. It's got to feel good, and hopefully they can build off of it. It really kind of pushes them right into the Deshaun Watson era now, and we'll see where we're at. But yeah, that's just got to feel good for the whole entire team, for Stefanski, because it was pretty much what we've seen the last couple weeks. They dominated the first half, but only was tied. Then they couldn't do much on offense. The defense actually kind of flipped the script there on that one. But it ended up they actually did the plays that they needed to. Like we actually did the small things that we needed. They made that big catch. Njoku made that big catch. They didn't really have that bad of the penalties late in the game. They didn't have besides that Cooper drop. That was the only drop. And on defense, they didn't really make any penalties. That they did make that one defensive penalty, but that was questionable at best.
That one was.
Yeah,
they were letting that kind of stuff go all day, and then they called it at a really crucial time. I mean, it ended up not mattering, but it felt real bad.
Right, it did. And that's another thing. They didn't let these like small things kind of turn into just an avalanche. Like it didn't turn into just being down 14 points or whatever. They came back and stopped them on that same drive. It just was nice to see them to show some fight, show some heart that they are actually willing to kind of fight for this, and they got the win. So it was fun to see that. It was an actual game that you can come out of it like feeling really good about.
Yeah, like the offense did have its struggles there. Like they kept posting the graph. Like you were at the game, but they kept posting a graphic in the second half. it's been this many minutes since the Browns scored a touchdown.
Oh,
Because the last 3 games they've gone over 40 minutes between touchdowns. And they went 53 today. They went 53 minutes between touchdowns.
Yep.
And the offense had its struggles, but the defense picked them up, and out of absolutely nowhere, the special teams actually had a good day. Aside from
right.
Cade York
I don't know
shanking
what
a
the
kick.
heck. What was that?
I don't know. I think
was it hit?
no. I have a feeling that he might be getting
overplayed the wind.
I don't know if he overplayed the wind. I think he might just be getting nervous because he doesn't trust his blockers. He saw them overload the left side, and he tried to blast it quickly and pulled it.
Yeah.
Or pushed it, or
yeah, that was that was.
But Donovan Peoples-Jones was averaging 15 yards a punt return.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford had a 44-yard kick return. And perhaps most importantly, every single one of Cade York's kickoffs
out of the end zone
might as well have been in the third row.
Right. Thank God. Yeah. Especially when it was the last one of the day in extra in at the end of the game of regulation.
Yeah.
I was like, you better kick that freaking thing out of the end zone.
Yeah.
Do not get them a return. But yeah, it was good to see. It was like it was a game that all 3 phases kind of contributed in one way or another. We haven't seen that since Cincy.
And you see what happens. They go and win games.
Right. Look at that.
It's not a novel concept. It's
right.
If all 3 phases of your game don't actively try to sabotage others, it should be like wins happen.
Yeah.
And it was just a good overall showing. Yes, there was a lot of things you could nitpick, especially in the middle of the game. Like, my notes got more and more annoyed as we went here, but they ran the ball for 189 yards, more than they threw the ball for. The only thing the offense really, aside from not scoring for most of the game, the letting Brissett take as many hits as he did was abnormal for them. I don't know what the plan is at center. I don't know if it's Froholt. I mean, he was better than last week, but that was not a high bar to clear.
Right. Yeah, it was some of it was definitely on Brissett because he held the ball too long on sometimes, but they're that's the kind of troubling part when you come out of this game. The interior is just especially the right the right side of the line, starting at the center and going over. Side everyone's struggled.
Froholt isn't an NFL center, and the other 2 are hurt.
Yeah.
So it's a struggle every week.
Yeah, and it's affecting the run game too. When you most of the big runs have come on the left side. It seemed like, they were kind of going towards that end. It was. It's nice that they overcame it. They couldn't do it last game, but they did it this game. So it was nice to see. So in terms of let's kind of break down what we saw on offense first. Actually, let's start with the good here. Let's start with the really good defense. Man, that was I would say one of their 1 or 2 top performances of the year.
Yeah, I mean
I know we're not picking a lot of.
There's not a whole lot to pick from, but
yeah,
I would say that it's been long overdue. I think the last time Myles Garrett truly took over a game was Chicago last year. He had moments in other games where he played really well, but like from the middle of the third quarter on today, it was him versus the Bucs, and they stopped wanting to chip him. for some reason. Like they stopped wanting to pay him any more attention than an offensive tackle, and he made him pay. And the tackling continued to show improvement. They didn't have any issues with that today. The only issue they had was Chris Godwin repeatedly got open.
Yeah.
But they were down to like their sixth corner on him. So like you really
Right.
didn't have a choice. I don't even know his name. Is Graham?
Graham, yeah, I kept saying.
Yeah. Like
I don't even know his first name. Couldn't
Newsom's
tell you he
out.
was even on the roster.
I mean, Newsom was out.
Yeah.
AJ Green went down with, I believe, a concussion early in the game.
And then Denzel got hurt late in the game.
Denzel was
did he come back?
playing outside. Denzel was just playing outside, and I guess the defensive strategy was not put Delpit or someone kind of a little bigger on Chris Godwin because they wouldn't be able to keep up. So they ran Graham out there on him, and Graham's just a practice squad guy. Like he didn't get absolutely toasted, but
True.
Godwin was always open.
Thomas Graham Jr. He was third in tackles.
Well, they kept throwing it to his guy. Right.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Godwin had 12 catches for 110 yards on 13 targets. So that's an impressive. Yeah, he was definitely Tom Brady's safety net there.
Because Mike Evans wasn't working. Cameron Brate wasn't getting catches. Like
that was impressive. Like they didn't give up besides that one drive, which I don't know. Like they forgot how to defend the play action. Don't know. I don't like. It was very odd. Like they didn't give up like big kind of passes all game, and then you see that drive. It was very odd. But yeah, other than that, they kept everybody in front of them. They didn't give them like broken tackles or missed opportunities like that. And the communication was pretty good too. There was no kind of coverage breakdowns.
Yeah, aside from that one third down play where it looked like they were trying to get lined up until the snap, and then Alex Wright batted the pass. But
right, yeah.
I think the thing that I was most impressed with is that they were, and they talked about this in the broadcast, how Joe Woods has basically simplified his defense to a point where like it can't get any easier. Like just go out and play. Right. We're not going to do anything complicated. Just go out and play. And it seemed to work to the extent that aside from that first drive where the Bucs ran for 56 yards, the Browns' run defense was filling gaps, and they were fast to the ball when it went outside. Like I want to say after that first drive, the Bucs may not have had another run longer than like 7 or 8 yards, and most of them were shut down within 3. So it was an impressive bounce back for the run defense. Okay, well, with the caveat that it's against a notoriously bad rushing offense.
That's what I know. We have to see it. We have to see it next week. Like if they can kind of do it again, but like we do have to put this caveat that the Bucs are the second. I think it was the second worst run game in the league. So we have to put that little caveat, put the little asterisk. But I mean, it was nice to see them actually, because if you go back, we played 3 or 4 straight teams that have been very poor at running, and they've just gashed us even so. So it was nice to actually see them make them have to kind of run the game, and they couldn't do it. So that was good to see.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, they had 56 rushing yards on that first drive. They finished with 96.
That's crazy.
So
that's impressive.
I think they threw the ball. I think they ran the ball 5 times on that first drive for 56 yards. The rest of the game, they ran 15 for 40. So that was excellent. Yeah,
that's
a really good improvement. You took away one part of the offense that Tom Brady probably relies on in this point in his career.
Yeah,
because he doesn't want to drop back 43 times and have
No,
Myles Garrett run at him.
no,
Like,
no.
you're 45 years old. Why am I having Myles Garrett run at me 43 times?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But
yeah. I thought the linebackers played well. JOK made some really big plays in the run game. I remember one play. I think it was like 3rd and 1. And he shot through the gap and took the running back's legs out and forced
yeah,
a 4th down. They were really good on 3rd down, which is
yeah, I actually had that.
incredible.
I had that stat queued up. I was going to talk
Yeah,
about it when we eventually got to it. The Bucs were 4 of 15 on 3rd down.
yeah. This is the best 3rd down defense I've seen in quite a while. It's probably even past last year. Like they were in a lot of 3rd and shorts, and they were still getting stops.
Yeah,
Usually, and for this defense, it took like 3rd and 10 or plus to get these kind of stops, and they were getting them with 3rd and 5 or shorter, and that was a huge deciding factor in getting this win.
they were also consistently getting them to 3rd down,
Yeah, true.
which it puts the offense in a pressure situation. There, I feel like against the Bills and the Dolphins, they didn't even get them to 3rd down that much.
Right, it was 1st and 2nd down. Yeah,
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 so like getting them into 15 3rd downs on their 13 drives, like that's pretty good.
yeah.
Like
Right.
the Bucs were 1 of 1 on 4th down. It was a quick
That was
snap
a
on it.
weird.
It
Yeah,
was
that
a
was
quick snap. It was a quick snap on a QB sneak.
Yeah, and they didn't have any defense. They were like, I think it was like 3 down linemen or something. It was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, Tom Brady, one of the best quarterback sneakers to ever exist.
Yeah, let's not put anybody on the line here. Yeah,
But
yeah. It's kind of crazy when, like, usually we can think of 15 to 20 different drives or plays during a game where the defense kind of screwed up, and I can only think of like 2 drives.
they had 2 bad possessions
Two,
all
yeah,
day.
right.
They were 11 of 13.
Yeah.
Well, 10 of 13 if you want to count the field goal. But
Mm-hmm.
that's still pretty good ratio.
Right. Yeah. They shut down almost everybody else besides Godwin.
Yeah.
Rashad White was the next one, but he was just pretty much the dump off guy because Tom Brady had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Julio Jones only had 3 catches. It was just it was one of their best performances I've seen in a long time.
I don't think any of us had Julio Jones having more of an impact on the game than Mike Evans.
Right. First of all, I didn't even know if Julio Jones was going to play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he had more of an impact. He had,
he did.
What was that? 55 yards total with his 15-yard reverse, which was one of the most well-designed reverses I've ever seen. I've never seen a reverse like flow that well because it wasn't a reverse in the normal sense. They ran a toss left. Everyone was going left. The running back was going left. It looked like it was being tossed to him, but in motion, Roddy White, Julio Jones, wrong Falcons receiver. Julio Jones caught it. Like, I don't know how you can't game plan for that in any way because it's just the timing on that has to be perfect from Tom Brady because you have to make it look to the defense like you're tossing it to the running back and have the receiver pick it out of the air and go the other way.
Right.
So, like, I can't even really blame him for that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That actually kind of is a good kind of leeway after we. You have anything else on this defense?
There's probably 2 plays that people are going to pick at. Both of them were just, Tom Brady making Tom Brady throws. I think Godwin had one down the sideline over
Denzel.
Like that was a perfectly thrown ball.
Yeah, that's
Denzel Ward was right there. Like
that was Tom Brady being Tom Brady. Yeah, but they made up for it after that.
Yeah,
like
that was
they shut him down.
Was that
that was
right
the
before
overtime?
Was that in overtime or was that in regulation? I don't remember. But You
I'm
know,
pretty sure
they
it's
bounced
overtime.
they bounced back and didn't give up
Yeah.
any more yards after that. So
Right.
it was. I'd almost venture to say that from an entire game standpoint and the adversity they had to deal with,
Right.
today was probably a stronger performance for the defense than Cincinnati game.
Yeah, because the offense was just scoring at will on Cincinnati, so they didn't really have to be kind of perfect. This one, they had
Yeah.
to be perfect, or else they would have lost.
Yeah, I mean, they could have easily gone out after the Amari Cooper drop and folded in and been down 24-10 with 7 minutes to go, or with 5 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. I think
They could have folded. They could have folded when they punted 3 minutes to go.
Yeah,
or I think it was 3 minutes to go.
Oh, and Bajorquez absolutely uncorked one on that one. That was a 65-yard
That was good.
punt. It's been a while since we could praise him, but
I know. Yeah, he had other than
he
that
had
punt,
he had a rough first half.
He did.
He had a rough first half.
He could not get it into the red zone. He could not kick it short. It was going, all of them were just going right into the end zone.
I don't know if he could judge the wind very well.
Yeah, probably.
Because he was kicking it real hard down to that end because the wind was blowing against him going to that end. Mm-hmm. But I guess he just, when he kicked it, he didn't hit the wind. It just kept going.
Right. Yeah. What was the other play that we were talking about?
I don't remember. Like, there was another play that Tom Brady made where I was just like, you can't do anything about that.
Right.
Like, that
there was
perfect throw. There was two plays where you go back and look and say, yeah, you can't do anything about that. It's just Tom Brady making a perfect throw in a perfect spot to a guy that isn't open.
Right. Yeah. But overall, that was the best performance. I'm going to say it. I think it's the best performance of the year for the defense. Showed the best adversity, kind of fighting against adversity. It was good to see, man. They needed something good happen on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's move over to the offense. I wanted to go kind of leeway off of that, the kind of play you were talking about. The Browns actually had one of the best double reverses I've ever seen. They completely fooled the Bucs. Like, I've never seen just a wide open side like that. There was nobody over there until I think 20 yards down the field. And
then the first guy that could have made the play, Jacoby Brissett ran him over.
Right. I was like, okay. Once again, Kevin Stefanski's script is just impeccable. Like, he just knows how to dial it up the first one.
And I know that there's people that are going to say he called a bad game, but like, the Bucs are still a really good defense.
True.
Like, he didn't call a perfect game. There were some times where, like, I was keeping track of it today because I wanted to see they ran the ball on first down 15 times.
Okay.
They had 22 first downs, so 15 of 27 called or 15 of 22 called runs. I think they had 2 quarterback runs that weren't called, so 17 of 20. Like, they ran the ball on first down a lot, which is something we were kind of harping on in the pregame.
Yeah,
but unlike the last few weeks, the running game actually worked today.
True. It didn't work early on because it looked like they were in that bare front, and then they kind of stopped. It was
I think after that first possession, they wanted to back off and not let Brissett kind of get the play action thing going, because it really looked like in the second and third quarter they were more keying on play action and staying back in the pass lanes than they were on the run. Definitely. And the Browns were getting burned because they kept doing play action.
Yeah. There's a couple, like 2 or 3 rollouts in the second half where they didn't
got
even
blown up.
They didn't even bite on the run. They went straight to the quarterback. So that was a good call on you. Yeah, it was interesting. It was a weird kind of switch of dynamics. That's probably why I thought Stefanski a little bit struggled. I think it was kind of surprising to him that, hey, they're actually trying to play the stop the passing game.
Yeah.
like we've seen 5 or 6 last last few games where they just try to stop the run and force the pass. So it was, I think it kind of got him out of tune there. And then the other drive that I kind of is the one where they missed the field goal. I thought it was very passive. He kind of played to the field goal after they got, I think it was a holding or something.
Yeah,
He
it was
just called,
it was a weak hold too. I didn't
yeah,
really
it was
like
a
the
weak
hold.
hold, and it seemed like they didn't. There was in a lot of the game here, it just seemed like they kind of played just for the field goal or kind of not trying to overextend Brissett a little bit. Obviously, that could be because he doesn't trust the line holding up any as much.
Yeah,
But I just thought that kind of series kind of led to that missed field goal. They played to it and it backfired.
yeah. I'm also glad that they won, so we don't have to hear about. Oh my God, he ran the ball on 3rd and 20 in
Right.
overtime. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many bad things that could happen throwing the
True.
ball on 3rd and 20 from your own 6.
True. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I understood the call. Your defense was playing well. Let them go out and do it, and hope Bojorquez kicks a deep one. And that was his 65-yard punt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was a little bit I was against that run too, but yeah, after kind of
I mean,
seeing
obviously the outcome kind of helps it, but
yeah.
I think so many bad things can happen if you pass there. You could get a holding in the end zone. You could get sacked in the end zone. Game could be over. You could throw a pick.
Right.
Like,
True. Yeah.
I think you just punt it downfield and hope your defense keeps playing well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And they did.
yeah.
He actually trusted the defense, I think, today. I think that was kind of the surprising thing with me was it seemed like he actually trusted the defense and he wasn't as aggressive. Man, he's one of the most aggressive coaches in the league, and this was this was Ryan or not. Okay, well, not going to be brutal and say this is Ryan Day offensive play calling, but it was not like it. He was very. It seemed like he was kind of hesitant to put pressure on this offensive line. Maybe the weather got worse as the day went on, so maybe
Yeah.
that kind of. And he was just safe with a lot of things, and Brissett was too. There's a lot of checkdowns.
Well, Brissett's just inherently safe.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. But yeah, it was an interesting kind of mindset he had. I haven't seen his press conference, so I wonder if anyone asked him if he had kind of those thoughts in his mind. But yeah, it was interesting to see him because you're so used to him going up fourth downs. Like there's a couple fourth down plays.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really find themselves in very many fourth downs that I thought that they had a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, late in the game, they obviously didn't have a choice. They had to go for it.
Yeah.
But leading up to it, they were mostly every time they got to a fourth down where you'd think about it, they were in like 4th and 6, 4th and 7. Like those aren't good distances for that. So
yeah, especially with Brissett, he kind of struggled too.
he was. I mean, before the last before that last drive, he was in like the 130s, 140s for passing yards in the game. Like it was not a pretty stat line at all.
No, he took a lot of short passes and he it was very odd. He didn't really attack the middle of the field as much, and he didn't attack the sideline. He did a lot of like it was either like short kind of side like in the flat passes and then deep like shots down the field where there's like no possible. It was just a weird game for him overall. But
yeah, it was prior to him being a hero, it was probably his worst game.
Yeah.
But
that
he obviously made up for it. Even against Carolina, like what's funny is both his first and his last game, he had to lead a drive.
That's true.
And he did it twice.
Right.
Like
yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, you could argue Jacoby Brissett won 2 of the 4 games that they won
which is funny because because a lot of a couple of the losses is when he could have led a drive and he it's very interesting. It's just kind of it was nice to see him kind of come up clutch at the end there.
I imagine that pick against I almost said San Diego against LA is going to haunt him for a while.
Yeah.
Because the game was still tied at that point, was it not?
I can't remember, but yeah, I saw a highlight of that the other day. I was like, oh god. I
Yeah,
think it was that was probably his worst decision and pass of a season. Like,
yeah. I mean, he had a couple bad ones against the Patriots, but the
yeah,
Patriots are the Patriots. So,
yeah, yeah,
um, I would say that the Browns did a good job combating what was actually a really good game from the Bucs linebackers.
yeah.
Levante David and Devin White were everywhere all at once.
Right. Yeah. They were.
I think they combined for 21 tackles today.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. They were huge on stopping the run for like during the middle of the game. They kind of
yeah,
stopped the run. Nick Chubb had a really he didn't look great in the first half, and then some of the second half where he kind of could have had some kind of big plays and he kind of ran into somebody or tripped or
yeah,
it was very unorthodox for him, but
yeah. But it never really felt like he wasn't himself in the
right.
game. Yes, he would have runs that would go for between -2 and 2 yards,
Mhm.
but they they weren't every run like they had been against Miami and Buffalo.
I would love to see the breakdown because I think that it was mostly when he ran to the right side, it was just not good. Like
Yeah,
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'll
yeah.
see on PFF.
I don't think the Statcast is up yet.
Yeah, but it would be interesting to see. I bet the breakdown is pretty. I would think it's pretty stark because all the big runs seem to come on the left side, or the middle, a little bit sometimes. But yeah, it was. That's definitely going to be something to kind of watch going forward here. That right side is struggling.
Yeah, and I mean maybe it'll improve as they get healthier.
Yeah. Also, you have a threat now as a quarterback to run, so that also helps kind of alleviate the pressure.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and send you this so we can discuss it. They actually do have the graph up
Oh,
already
dude, nice.
for
Okay.
his carries.
Okay.
It's actually pretty balanced. His
Mhm.
longest runs definitely came up on the left side, but he had some decent runs on the right.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, that's a typical Nick Chubb spaghetti chart.
it really is. Yeah, yeah. But it does look like they ran to the left side a lot more.
Yeah,
If I can see the
yeah,
squigglies.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to make out, but yeah, it looked like they were trying to go to the
Left
left a
side.
lot
Yeah.
more than the right.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I thought the run game it was a nice kind of bounce back game for them. Let's talk about the receivers. I thought Amari Cooper was excellent again. He had obviously that big drop, but he
Yeah,
really
I mean
came up.
that would have been what he was remembered for if he didn't absolutely make someone fall out of their cleats.
Right. Yeah, he became kind of the player of the game there. He made the game changing play.
I saw someone on Twitter say that it was the tire marks that tripped up the cornerback, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care if that's true or not. That's now my headcanon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I'm going to choose to remember that play.
Yeah, that was impressive. And yeah, it was nice to see him. He dropped that pass and then on the next drive, I remember him on the first series,
Yeah,
first three sets, he made a good catch to extend for the first down.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it
that
didn't
was the drive that started in the like basically on the 6.
right.
He
Yeah.
picked up 12 on 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
The drive didn't go anywhere, but
Right. It was just nice to see a receiver. God, how many times have we seen receivers like maybe like just last year, Odell Beckham and Jarvis? It would kind of just creep
yeah,
into in their game even further, and it just he just dropped it and let it go by, and it was great to see that. Next person is David Njoku. Obviously he made the catch of the game.
He made the best catch by a Browns tight end since Gary Barnidge caught a ball with his ass.
Oh man! Wow, that brings me back to that. Yeah, that was impressive, man. Fourth and 10. Gotta have it.
Actually, you might even argue that he might not have had the best catch by a tight end in the game. Harrison Bryant caught one while he was on his head.
Right? Yeah, that was impressive too. Yeah, it was nice to see like the guys stepped up when they needed to. And Joku, Cooper.
How about Anthony Schwartz getting 2 touches for 48 yards and a touchdown?
How about that? This is his best game since the Chiefs game last year.
Literally back from the dead.
It was like usually his like I think it was just so wide open because he's usually really bad at reading blocks.
Yeah,
but
he didn't have a choice. Like it was an open lane.
It was literally just the whole side of the field open. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. But yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones was a little quieter than usual.
He made up for his lack of production as a receiver.
He really did
by returning punts.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that he made up for it.
How long was his punt return that set them up at the 46 to start their tying drive?
Let's see. He had his longest 29 yards. I would assume that's the longest. His longest.
No, that was only 12 yards. They caught it near midfield.
But he had a long of 29. He was five. Yeah. He had 5 returns for 75 yards. That's
15 yards average on a punt.
That is incredible.
Like for the first few weeks, he was go back there and catch it.
Yeah.
Now he has the confidence to catch it and do something with it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a big positive. And oh god, I don't want to say his name wrong. Jerome Ford might be the best kick returner the Browns have had since Josh Cribbs.
That's what I was gonna say. Like he kind of it gets me excited for kind of his future. Like you can see his vision just as a kick returner.
Like when he brought that kick out of the end zone 2 yards deep, I was like, oh my god, here we go. And that was the kick he returned 44 yards.
Yeah, he's gonna be a fun one going forward. But it looks like they found a kick returner and a punt returner. Hopefully,
I mean, Jerome Ford is not a long-term kick returner because he's probably going to be the number 2 back next year.
True.
So they're probably not going to send him back there to return kicks. He's not Cordero Patterson, who's the best kick returner in the history of the game. Yeah. So you're not going to send him back there.
Very true. Yeah,
but it is showing ball carrier like the vision to find the holes and the gaps when you're running full speed with dudes running at you. Finding holes on kickoffs is different than finding holes in line of scrimmage, but it's still nice to have net positives in the return game where for the better part of the last 2.5 years you've had nothing but negative things happen on punt returns.
Right. Yeah. It's nice to not have oh crap, what do they do now? That's kind of a good feeling, kind of just being a positive on that side at least.
Yeah.
I thought David Bell had some nice catches. He had 4 for 23. He's still kind of.
I mean, he's third leading target on the team. Like he's getting looks. And it's kind of where we expected him to be. He can continue to develop. I have no issue with where he's at right now. I mean, he hasn't made a game-changing play to this point, I don't think.
Yeah, but he's making.
Actually, didn't he make the catch that put them in 58-yard field goal range in Carolina? Didn't he make the last catch? I think he did.
Did he? I can't remember, but that was 3 seasons ago. It seems like.
Yeah, I was at that game, and it feels like it was about 3 years ago.
It's just nice. It seems like we have another guy that's just kind of a secure catcher. That coming off of the last couple seasons where we had Odell Beckham, we had kind of Jarvis who would drop passes
at weird times.
right at weird times. Like
Very
it's nice
sure-handed, but he would drop passes at weird times.
right. It's nice to have like Cooper, who's sure-handed most of the time, barring that one drop.
He's
And
had 2 or 3 drops this year that like make you wonder where his concentration was on that given play, but he's never
right.
let it linger.
Yeah. And Joku, who's been sure-handed for the most part.
Except for the stone hands he showed today. That one pass.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
my God, dude.
I know. And then Peoples-Jones, who just seems like he never drops a pass.
No.
Like,
he didn't have very many opportunities today. I think the
Yeah,
Bucs
4 targets.
recognized him as like the security blanket.
Yeah.
And they wanted to take that away and make Brissett look elsewhere, which is where he struggled all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah. But besides that, man, it was just great to see. I
think you take more away from this game emotionally than you will. Oh my God, they played so well. The defense did.
Defense did, yeah.
The special teams didn't make any glaring mistakes aside from Cade York forgetting how to kick for 5 seconds.
I hope someone asked him what the hell was that.
But all in all, like I think that win was almost as needed for the vibes as it was the win column.
Really, that might be the best quote of the day. Yeah, it was probably that is very true. Just look at Ed Hogler here. That guy kind of wants Super Bowl. See, the vibes are good. It was a nice kind of palate cleanser, I would say. Clean all that just bad taste in your mouth you had over the past month and a half, and it was nice to see that just kind of come back. It was I going into overtime, I thought I was like, okay.
I didn't have a good feeling when they got the ball first.
Right.
Seeing a tweet now that the Browns are now 2-0 and wild animals are in the stadium.
Yes, if anyone saw that, there's a skunk in the field. So. I haven't seen the conclusion. I don't know what happened to the skunk. I know he got trapped and then he got out of the trap, and I don't know.
I hope no one got sprayed. That would be.
I know that would ruin.
That would be rough.
It would.
The Browns tweeted out a video that Jacoby got the game ball.
Nice.
I mean, he deserves it.
Oh yeah.
If for not like even if he didn't play a great game today, even if he didn't throw the game-tying touchdown to get it over,
just what he has done throughout.
Like he gets a game ball and a $10 million contract next year,
right?
Or an $8 million. Like he's going to get a decent amount of money from the Panthers next year.
He should. I love you. Hey, Darnold did well today.
Yeah, but if they bring him back, I want everyone fired.
Yeah.
Like if they bring back, like I think all 3 quarterbacks are, and this is way off track, but all 3 quarterbacks I think are off the books at the end of the season. If they bring any of them back, we have problems.
Right.
But he's proven that he can be a quarterback in this league. Some of that might be Stefanski's system, and someone might get got this offseason and give him way more money than he deserves because it's Stefanski.
I'm thinking that's going to be true, but
like it's good for him that he's going to get that money before how he played this year. Definitely. Even if whatever team picks him up is going to regret it. Like, right. And I don't necessarily think they'll regret it, but
yeah, he's a great locker room guy. He'll be at least a great locker room guy.
Yeah,
so like getting that right
he's gonna get rave reviews from the Browns.
Yeah,
he has the stats and the play on the field to get paid this offseason, and I think he will. I don't think he'll be back here next year, and I think that's completely fine. Like, there's no sense in hanging on to him just to be a backup. Like, let him go and get his money and get paid.
Yeah,
or get and play.
Yeah, you don't need to get your quarterback a buddy like they did with Baker with Keenum for so many years. But yeah, other than that, it was just a good game, fun game, good for the vibes, as you said.
The vibes are immaculate again.
Yes.
for
And
at
it
least
kinda,
for at
right.
least a few days, and then we have to deal with
Well,
the Twitter shitstorm that is Deshaun Watson coming back.
very true. I, I know it's kind of been quiet because he's been away from the team, and now it comes back. So
Yeah, I think if there's any good that happened today, it was the Texans getting absolutely slaughtered.
right, with
Because the fewer people that are in that stadium, the
the
better it's
better,
going to
yes.
be. Because it's not going to be a warm reception, but the Texans are so bad that I don't think people are going to care enough to show up. I don't know if I'm still recording or if we lost Joe, but it has gone. He has frozen. Let's see if we can get him back, or if I'm gone, I don't know. Just talking to fill space. Um, yep, it looks like we lost Joe. We're gonna see if we can get him back. But either way, today was a very good win for the Browns. I know that there's been a lot of negative on Twitter in the last few weeks, and at least for a few hours, we're going to get to enjoy a win for once and be happy about where the team could be in at this time next week, after playing a team that they should very easily beat. But I think see if we can get Joe back here. Um, well, it appears as though Joe's Wi-Fi has gone out. So, at the cost of keeping you guys around here just to hear me ramble on for another 10 minutes to get us to an hour, which is probably too long anyway, I'll just wrap this up and say thank you for listening to the Browns cast, and I'm glad that we finally got to experience a win. It's been a while for me, and we will be back later this week on the WFNY Evergreen Podcast Network to talk about Deshaun Watson coming back. So enjoy the win. We will have a lot to talk about in the coming weeks as we get what is hopefully the franchise quarterback back on the field after the 11-game suspension. For Joe Gilbert, who is figuring out how to get his Wi-Fi back, I'm Taylor Jedrzejek. Thanks for listening. Go Browns.